Welcome to Unit 5, Lesson 2, Changing Temperatures. Let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to start with our warm-up. Which one doesn't belong? Arrows. So which pair of arrows doesn't belong? I want you to take a moment, look at them all, and figure out which one of these do not belong in this set. Welcome back. So, a couple of things that you could have said is this first one doesn't belong because it's the only one where both arrows are pointing right. So both arrows point right. But you also could have said it was the second one because this is the only one where the arrows point in opposite directions and are different lengths. And letter C, you could have said this is the only one where the arrows point in opposite directions and are the same length. And this last one, you could have said this is the only one where both arrows point left. So no matter which one you chose, there was a way that all of them could have not fit into this group. All right, let's look at the next page. So on this page, we're warmer or colder. And they gave us some number lines that we can use to help us here. So we have A, B, C, D, and E, and then we have A, B, C, D, E. So let's look at what it's asking us to do. Complete the table and draw a number line diagram for each situation. And they did A for us. So it started at positive 40 degrees and it got 10 degrees warmer. So it was at positive 40. We started here. So we went from 0 to 40. That's what we started with. And then it got 10 degrees warmer. Oh, that's not quite on the 50. 10 degrees warmer. So on number line A, we have showed we were at 40 degrees and we went up 10 degrees to 50. So we have our answer here of 50. That's where we ended. And then it showed us an addition equation for this. Oops. So you see right here how it's an addition equation? 40 plus 10 is 50. All right, let's look at the next one. So the next one, again, it's going to start at 40 degrees. So let's go down to B. And we're going to draw our line from 0 to 40 because we're starting at 40. And draw our arrow. Let's switch colors. And it got 5 degrees colder. So is that going up or down? Yeah, that's going down. 5 degrees colder. So it got a little bit chillier. Is that 5 degrees colder going to be shown as a positive or as a negative? I know that's a little bit tricky, but is that 5 degrees colder going to be a positive or a negative? Yeah, in this case, it's going to be a negative. And where we ended was right here at 35. So So let's go ahead and write 35 here, and that was a positive 35. We started at 40, and we had to add negative 5 degrees in order to get to 35. Because this is just looking for an addition equation. So we had to add negative 5 to go backwards. Let's look at letter C. Letter C, again, is starting at 40 degrees. So let's go down and let's put our arrows in, set us up to go right to 40. There's our representation for 40 degrees. Now if we go back up, letter C says it's going to be 30 degrees colder. So if it's going to be 30 degrees colder, is that going to be a positive number or a negative number? Are we going to be going to the left or are we going to the right? It's getting colder. Yeah, so we would be going to the left. So let's change our color. So we went from 40 and we're going 30 degrees colder. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, which is going to put us right here at this 10. And we're going 30 degrees colder. So our new answer for where we're hanging out at is at 10. So we're going to go ahead and we can fill in that 10. Was it a positive 10 or a negative 10? Yeah, it's a positive 10. Oops. So positive 10. And we had 40 plus, we had to go down 30. So negative 30 equals 10. Let's look at the next one. So letter D. We start at positive 40 and we go 40 degrees colder. So we're going 40 degrees colder. And I'm noticing a trend. Each time we are going a little bit more colder. So right now we're at 40 degrees colder. So let's go ahead and mark our 40 degrees. So we're going to go here to show 40. And it went 40 degrees colder, so it's going to be going down. And that's going to bring us right back to 0. Isn't that interesting? So these perfectly canceled each other out because it was up at 40 and it went down 40 right to the 0. So let's go up here. Our final degrees was just 0. So we had 40 plus negative 40 equals 0. And now it's time for the last one on this page. Letter E. We're starting at positive 40 and we're going 50 degrees colder. Brr, that one's going to be really cold if D went down 40 degrees and it was at 0. Whew. Is this one going to be greater than 0 or less than 0? Let's find out. Let's go plot our 40. Down on our last line, we're going to plot our 40 from 0 down to 40 and draw our arrow. And then we've got to count back. So we can go back 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we end up here at negative 10. So that's a lot colder than the last one was. So let's go ahead and put that in. So we ended up at -10, and we had 40 plus -50 equals 10. So your final page should look something like this. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the next page. It says, complete the table and draw a number line diagram for each situation. Ooh, this one looks very similar to the one we just did over here. So let's see. It says to complete the table and draw a number line diagram for each situation. So we're doing the same thing here. We're drawing a number line diagram. So for letter A, we're starting at -20 degrees. Oh, Miss Bailey's noticing an error on the number line. So these numbers on this side, all the way down, are not the right numbers. They are off by 10 digits, roughly. So let's fix that real quick. What can I do there? I can put a shape. And we can make the shape clear. That is not a shape. All right, we'll just work through it. So we're at -20, so this would be 5, 10, 15, 20. So we're starting here at -20. And we're going 30 degrees warmer. So let's draw our first arrows in to show that we're at -20. And we're going to go ahead and go up 30 degrees. So 10, 20, 30. So we've gone up 30 degrees. And that placed us right here at +10. So let's go ahead and fill in that chart. Our final degree was +10. That's a little tricky to see. +10. We did -20 plus 30 because we went up 30 degrees. It got warmer, which means we were going up. So warmer means up, whereas colder means down. Let's look at letter B. -20 degrees, and it got 35 degrees warmer. All right, so we're going to have to go ahead and move down. And let's draw that in. So we started at -20. And we're going 35 degrees warmer. So maybe this time we should count by 5s. So let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. And that puts us right here at 15. So here's our answer, 15. Let's go ahead and write that sentence. So we're at +15, and we had -20, and we added 35. Oh, we forgot to actually write our final answer in. 15, 10. Now let's look at a letter C. So again, we're still starting at -20, but this time we're only going 15 degrees warmer. So we're starting at -20. Let's draw that in. And we're only going 15 degrees warmer. So we're going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. Oops. So that's going to put us right here. And if you remember, we said this was an incorrect number. So if this line's counting by fives, this wouldn't be 15. This would actually be the number -5. So we end at -5, and we went from -20 plus 15 equals -5. All right, last one for this page. Letter D. Again, we're at -20, so we can go ahead and just draw that in. But then we're getting 15 degrees colder, so we're going to go more negative. Let's count by fives. 5, 10, 15. And that's going to put us right here. And let's check just to make sure that number is right. So 20, 25, 30, 35. So that number is correct on the number line. So let's go ahead and write our equation. So we ended at -35, and we had -20 plus -15, which landed us at -25. And remember, this is a negative because it went down in temperature. So your final page should look something like this. All right, let's take a look at the next page. All right. One winter day, the temperature in Houston is 8 degrees Celsius. Find the temperatures in these other cities. Explain or show your reasoning. I want you to take a few minutes and try this one on your own. Welcome back. Let's check it out. So in Houston, it's 8 degrees Celsius. So let's go ahead and highlight that. In Houston, it's 8 degrees Celsius. In Orlando, it is 10 degrees warmer than it is in Houston. So we would have 8 plus 10, because they were 8 degrees. 8 plus 10 is 18 degrees. So we found how warm it is in Orlando. In Salt Lake City, it is 8 degrees colder than it is in Houston. And we're still writing addition sentences. So we would have 8 degrees plus -8 because it's colder. And those two numbers cancel each other out. So it would be 0 degrees in Houston. So it's really cold down in, Salt Lake City. In Minneapolis, it is 20 degrees colder than it is in Houston. Ooh, it's really cold in Minneapolis. So we have 8 degrees plus -20. Well, we could also rewrite this as 20 minus 8, which would give us 12. And because the 20 is the larger number and it's negative, we would have an answer of -12 degrees. So it is really cold in Minneapolis. In Fairbanks, it is 10 degrees colder than it is in Minneapolis. Ooh, they changed it on us. So we need to look at Minneapolis's temperature here. Oops, I meant to do this. So we've got to look at Minneapolis's temperature to figure out how cold it is in Fairbanks. So we're starting at -12, and it's 10 degrees colder. So we're going to have to subtract 10, or add -10. But because they're both a negative, we're just going to add them together. So 12 plus 10 is going to be negative 22 degrees. Brr, that's really cold. And number 5 is a little bit trickier. So it says to write an equation that represents the relationship between the temperature in Houston and the temperature in Fairbanks. So let's write an equation that's going to show us the difference between Houston and Fairbanks. Oops. So in Houston, it was 8 degrees. And then we had to add 20 degrees colder to get to Minneapolis. So we would do plus negative 20. And that gave us our negative 12 right here. And then we would add the negative 10, that Fairbanks was colder than Minneapolis, in order to find our final answer of negative 22. So this one here gave us Minneapolis, and this one gave us Fairbanks. So you could say we did Minneapolis plus Fairbanks. Gave us the temp. All right, that is all for Unit 5, Lesson 2. I will see you next time.